following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. The usual suspects in the building. First, he is a riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese steel cups. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin. Jay.
What's up?
What's up, indeed? Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Hush.
Hush indeed.
Dose.
Next, he is the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up?
What's up? Me. As for myself, my name's Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about our experience at WonderCon 2025, which was this past weekend. So we'll tell you all about what we did, what we experienced, what it was like. And if you happen to have been there yourselves, feel free to chime in. We'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. We're also going to be talking to you all about Batman number 158, which is the return of Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee to a monthly book, and they are doing Hush 2. So we got both of those things, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. So with that said, we will go ahead and tell you how to do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well, good sir. And with that said, let's have the intern do their thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed. So do what the intern says. Go to fantasticforum.live. You can hit the call in button and you will be the 5th member of Fantastic Forum if you do so. And if you're like, hey, feels like a lot. I don't know if I want to be on camera. I don't know if I want to hear people talking, or I don't know if I want people hearing my voice.
I don't know if I want to hear people talking.
I don't want to hear people talking like that. Look, that's a all too common reaction.
We get more audio downloads than video downloads.
Okay, so they do want to hear us talking.
Yeah.
They just don't want to see our ugly mugs. Got it.
That makes sense.
But yeah, if you don't want to be on camera, if you don't want people hearing your voice, you can always jump into chat, whether that be through YouTube or through Twitch. We'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as insert witty chat comment here, please, Jay.
Hexilla says, y'all down with the Switch 2 news?
Shoot. Look, for those of you that don't know me, I am a Nintendo fan. It is many a generation my console of choice, and I woke up early to watch it live, and yeah, it was something else, man. It was something else. I honestly, I won't lie to you, when they showed or said the release date, I was blown away. I was like, June.
You're not ready for that.
I'm not. I'm 100%. Look, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I got to start figuring out what I can sell right now.
No, there goes your Comic-Con money.
And dude, June, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, like they're going to announce it. Like, it's probably gonna be this year, but it's gonna be holiday season, right? It's gonna we're gonna be trying
But
to
that's
get.
why it always runs out. Like I think now it's probably gonna run out still, but you're gonna have enough for the holiday season too. Like,
Well, I will
And
tell
the
you,
$80
man.
games isn't a deterrent for you?
For let me put it like this. I don't know that I would be able to mess around and spend $80 for every game that I would want. So I would buy less games at $80 a pop. However, I'm only buying so many games at this point in my life anyway, because I play them slower. So and here's the thing, like I'm not saying that the sad fact of the matter is that I'm not sure $80 is a bad price point for a video game. Like that might be what video games cost. $90 is a bad price point, which is crazy because I have heard that 80 is what they might be charging for the digital.
Space Marine 2 was like 100.
yeah. And then
that's
if you
not
buy
even
like
that
This is
long
a
of a thing.
$100 game.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
I thought games at this point at most were $70. I thought Nintendo
no,
was
but
like,
they start at that. But like if you think about DLC or if you
oh
wait
yeah,
to buy them but even
yeah.
still, that's still like I mean just make a game and then make another game. Like don't give me another game halfway through and I gotta pay for a second game. That's not it. Like it was like how Zelda did. Like they had enough. Like that was supposed to be DLC, and then it turned out like you could make a whole game out of this, and they just made a second game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
So you're saying that you rather pay $80 or $90 one time for a game than pay $70 and then they charge you like 15 for DLC twice.
I'd rather use my Steam Deck and wait till things get delisted and get whole trilogies for $11. But
Oh, so you talk about playing stuff like
way
5
later.
years after the fact. Okay, and then
or more because I got what I got. I got The Witcher 1, 2, and 3 for $11 this past weekend on Steam.
Yeah. And see, look, I can understand that as a strategy, especially again if you're playing games slow. I get it, like, but this is definitely like if it's up to me, and who knows if it is or isn't at this point, but yeah, like ideally I would be getting this console day one. And I would just do the bundle because there's no reason to not get that bundle, especially considering that if you're gonna pay for the game by itself, you're gonna do $80. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually didn't watch the Nintendo Direct.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned if it's going to be backwards compatible.
Yes, it is. It's fully. Well, I shouldn't say fully. What I should say is they did say it is backwards compatible, but it did say a thing where it said something about I can't remember what the adjective they used, but they did put like a little bit of a, or it might actually just be, it might have been compatible games. It might have been something like that with
Well, what they're also making new versions of games for that console. So if you have like Disney, what is it, Disney? What you call it? Nintendo Online, like the Ultimate Pack or whatever. Like you can get a version for that is your old game, that'll play, and then everything else should be, but it just depends on the developers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's a good reason that your old games shouldn't work, but
for Nintendo, I can think of one good reason.
What's that?
That they just keep remaking every game over and over again. Like Link's Awakening has like 5 different versions of it for every console that they've done. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
So that's why they wouldn't want you to do it. Yeah. And
I
get it. Like they do, like, Link's Awakening, they did rebuild, but it's like I'm the same part that I was stuck in that game in the remake, I was stuck in the original. So it's like it's not like it's getting easier to play the shit,
Yeah, I know that like they do have like enhanced editions for certain games, and you can like pay a little bit extra, like like an upgrade fee, like how they were doing with PlayStation, to like play the games on Switch 2. So I don't know, but again, like I was under the impression that the games were just like you're just gonna be able to pop in your uh your little cartridge,
But you
and it
can't
should
because the
work.
new cartridges are red.
Taking Tugboat says it is backwards compatible. Only a few games that use features on the Joy-Cons that are not on the Joy-Cons 2 are not compatible. But that's only like 7 games that I play.
Are you the ones that you're the one that's playing those games, Joe? Taking Tugboat said nobody. You're a part of the nobody.
Yes.
Are you really? Or are you just saying that?
I assume.
Yeah, he doesn't know the list, but low key, like Taking Tugboat's the one playing those games too.
I believe it. Like I believe it. Like I think that it doesn't make sense for Nintendo to make a system that's not gonna be able to play the games. At least, let's put it like this. Like you did say, like, okay, they'll make a new version of the games from system to system, but people buy new versions of those games from system to system
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like Jay set me straight when I was first pissed about it back at on the Wii Virtual Console, where he's like, if people didn't buy them, they wouldn't keep making them.
Which is true,
and it's true. Like, look, I once I got a Switch, I'm like, oh, okay, this is why people keep buying these. Like, I have like 3 copies of Final Fantasy VII now, like 4 physical ones, and then like 2 digital ones, one on the phone and one on the and none of them are new one. Yeah,
and I won't even lie. Like I know, like I came in late on Mario Kart for Switch, and I think it's a great game. But I'm like, but it's Mario Kart. I wasn't like super compelled to necessarily like pick it up like early, especially because there's other games that I wanted to be playing. But then when I looked at the preview for Mario Kart World on this joint, I was like, dude, I really want to play that. I was shocked by how much I wanted to play it, especially like with the camera peripheral and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, dude, like I'm gonna have a blast with that.
I'm excited for that Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and that is so funny because I know people have been waiting for that Donkey Kong for a long, long time. And I know for myself, I was just like, I outside of classic Donkey Kong, I'm not really much of a fan. Like I don't know what it was, but like Donkey Kong Country wasn't my thing. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with the character. It's just those games they never did it for me. Like I like classic Donkey Kong and the iterations of it, and that's kind of it. Which is, I guess, it makes me very like I feel very alone in that opinion. Because
I like the OG ones, the little handheld one they used to play.
Yeah,
where you're like
classic. Oz, you've been pretty quiet, friend. Do you have any interest in this joint?
No.
I'll
probably end up getting it, but I mean, I have the Switch now and barely use it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just no games on it that have really interested you?
No, I mean, like the last game I played on it was probably Battle Chasers.
It's a good game.
Dang.
It is. That's why I played it.
Yeah, but why did you play it on Switch? Like you have a PlayStation, right?
Well, because I could play it like at work and stuff.
Oh, got it.
Which is really why I got it. So like if I have free time at work, I can just bust it out.
Okay. Got it.
Although I figured out I can connect my Xbox at work. So.
Okay. Well,
that's sitting on my desk now.
But I don't like with the Game Cloud or
I have I have the games digitally.
Oh,
okay. Like on memory cards. Yeah. So I have the little Xbox, the S or whatever.
Yeah.
Hooked up to a monitor that they're gonna throw away.
Nice.
So I got a whole setup that pisses my boss off, but I'm on lunch, so he can't say anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So Oh, Jay, I know you put a comment up. What did that comment say? It was here.
It wasn't me.
Oh,
no, I put it on, but yeah,
oh.
it was a Taken Tugboat. He put that he's on that Larry style. It takes him 3 months to complete a game, so he only buys like 4 games a year. That's not even Larry style. That's Larry Larry wishes he could do that.
That's just getting old.
Yeah, but Larry doesn't do that. Larry plays like 1 game every 3 months. No, like, and then doesn't play anything for the rest of the year.
Going to gaming hibernation. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's
that's
like,
just
unless it's
Snap.
Splatoon, like Snap or Splatoon, like he's on it.
Yeah.
But other than that,
and that's basically where my like.
That's why
honestly,
he can buy the new one, because the new
Lawrence,
Splatoon's gonna be
are you
$80
even playing Rivals anymore? Because you loved that game when it came out.
Yeah, dude, I do, and I have not been playing it lately, just because again, it's like I'll tell you what, it's like if your game isn't like a little like bite-sized thing like a Snap or like a Splatoon, because like legit, I can play a Splatoon match in 5 minutes and then it's done. Same thing with like Snap, right? The only game that I'm playing on a daily basis that takes more time than that is fitness boxing, and I'm using that as like one of my workouts for the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
how long is a Marvel Rivals match?
I mean, it's probably about 5 minutes as well.
For me, it's like 30 seconds.
Like, you know, it's about the same. It's about the same amount. Well, but you know what? Here's the thing. It's not that the matches aren't long. It's more so like I got to put the time in to get better at it, to for it to be more worthwhile. And I guess it's more idea like between like navigating menus and going through characters and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know that I have the time to invest. It's not that the game's not good though, because the game is awesome. Like, I really do enjoy it every time I've played, but I don't know that I'm willing to put the time in to actually like play it effectively. And then even if I did put that time in, I don't know that, like, I think I like Snap and Splatoon better. You know, like I like those games more. Like it's crazy because like right now, like the only game that's coming up, which is actually coming up at the end of this month, that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the time to play, that is that Claire Obscura Expedition 33, and that's actually available on Game Pass. So, you know, like technically, I guess I'm not actually buying it, even though I might at some point, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, it might, because I might just want to support that game if I can. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. But I will say, as excited as I am, June, I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. And but you know what I did hear though, which, you know, Mo, this speaks to your point. In regards to the supply being, you know, it selling out and people not being able to get their hands on it. I haven't been able to confirm this firsthand, but I did see a video, someone say that when you go to the Nintendo website, to like say like, hey, I'm interested in the pre-order, they have like a pre-order criterion. And the pre-order criterion is like, you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online account, and you have to have like so many hours played on your Nintendo Switch.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like over the lifespan of you having the Switch, and you know what they were saying.
What is the criterion though? Like,
it's like a certain amount of hours, but
yeah, but what? How many hours? Like,
I think it's something like 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy amount of hours. But what it is like, it's a thing where, what they're saying is that it was believed that they're trying to deter scalpers and like bots and things like that, right? So you have to, they're like actually linking not only it to a person that, you know, you can say, okay, this is a real person.
Yeah.
But it's also linking it to a person that's like playing Nintendo games on their Nintendo console already. So it's like, okay, so this is somebody that's like actually is going to be using a Switch.
Yeah.
And they're like doing, and it's like, even if like they say like, hey, if you have like a Nintendo online account and it's like a family account, it's like whoever set up the account can get the pre-order. It's
Oh,
not
that's
like
some bullshit, man.
not every person that's on the account. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. Listen.
Because what if my whole family wants one? Like we play together. Like,
I mean, listen, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if they're like, I guess the family account generally is the idea is like, okay, it's generally for like, you know, a person, a parent, and children, right?
no. No. This generation of people have less children than the last generation. And the last generation, the parents didn't play shit. So you got more people that are people with dual incomes and no kids than you did last generation. Cut that fucking shit. Like that mentality needs to get the fuck out of here.
But like, wait, so what are we saying? Like,
I'm saying if Emily wants to pre-order hers and I want to, and we both meet the criterion, we should both be able to, even though we share a family account.
So you only have one Nintendo online account between the two of you.
Right. No, we have two accounts, but we had a family online account. Okay. We're part of a family system. I have my Switch. She has her Switch. She does whatever she wants on her Switch. I do want mine. But the online account is a joint account with her, a couple of our nieces, because you can fit 5 people, and her sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if they're gonna get screwed because we decided to start a family account and let them in our family now.
Yeah.
If they want to buy a new one.
What's this war on families Nintendo's got?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think that is the way it's gonna go. I don't think, you know, we have to go to we have to go to the website to confirm. But yeah, I think that they're attaching
the like Trump should be putting tariffs on Japan instead of China for this shit. Yeah.
At least through Nintendo,
I think he
mind
did today.
Like that doesn't. I don't know if that's how it's going to work for like a Best Buy or a Amazon or any of those places. But through Nintendo, they're like, our systems are going to go to Nintendo. Like we're going to confirm basically that they're like core or primary Nintendo fans. So yeah, man.
What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to eBay and just pay the guy that I don't know that says I can pre-order it already.
Okay, I don't know, man.
He has no criterion.
he also may have no switches.
Well, he for sure didn't have any Heavy Metal Magazine 14s with the blank cover either.
Yeah,
been waiting for that shit for 3 years.
Damn,
took my money, cocksucker.
Exactly, man. Yeah, be careful, man. Like it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out because I'm like, yeah. But the system looks good. It looks like it's going to be really fun, and I'm excited for the way that to see how this all rolls out.
You didn't explain that Marvel game right either.
Friggin' Cosmic Invasion?
Yeah, it looks so cool.
What did I
when
not
I saw
explain?
I don't know. You didn't like the way you explained it to me. It didn't sound as cool as like when I actually saw scenes from it.
Well, listen. I mean, me talking about it's not going to be as cool as seeing it firsthand, but everything I said was accurate, right?
Yeah, but you weren't enthusiastic about it.
How enthusiastic? How much more enthusiastic you want me to be? I was out here telling you I'm a dude. I was like, Annihilation, like 90s aesthetic. I told you about Nova with the long hair out the back of his helmet.
I didn't even see that. All I saw was Spider-Man in a little clip, but I was like, Larry didn't say it was gonna look like that, but you kind of did.
I did. I told you it was.
But it just didn't feel that way. I don't know. You got to work on the way you express yourself.
Listen, I think you were just in a crummy mood. That's what I think. You were just like,
yeah. WonderCon's got me in a crummy mood.
Yeah, man. Listen, we got to talk about it. Let's go ahead and let's talk about WonderCon 2025. I guess we need to make a convention bumper at some point, don't we?
Well, not for WonderCon.
Was this the first of the convention season?
For us,
no convention
probably,
season.
yeah.
Those things are like year round now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
they do slow
like
down around the holidays, though.
I don't think that's true, right? Because there's a convention during like Thanksgiving, isn't there?
That's why I switched to whiskey, because I know Lawrence is gonna try to get me drunk again.
You've been building up your tolerance?
Trying to, man. I got hit hard last year. Can't
Larry
do that again.
Larry almost got hit hard by that 8-foot Marine guy that wanted to sleep with him.
Oh no, man! Look, okay, WonderCon 2025. It was this past weekend in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, basically across the street from Disneyland. You know, Oz. Of course, you weren't in attendance. Unfortunately, you were missed. But at the same time, I don't know. Would you even want to go to like a WonderCon?
I probably would if I was there.
Yeah.
If you
Okay,
lived here,
cool.
yeah, but
yeah. Like, I mean, it's interesting because like I know that the big thing for like one of the things that set WonderCon apart, like in the past was the cosplay. You know, it was like a place that kind of people went to like either, you know, work out the kinks of some of their stuff or to like, you know, show off like their alternate thing that they've been working on, you know. How did you all feel about the cosplay at WonderCon this year? How'd you feel about it, Joe?
It was all right. Like, there was some cool stuff.
Okay. Moses, how about you, man?
I've never been one to care about cosplay. Like, I like it when I see it,
right?
But that's not my like why I go. You know,
right?
So
was there a lot of it?
There was less than other years.
I do think that that's the case.
Yeah.
I think that there was less than other years.
There was like, you could see other years, you could see everybody kind of meets up at the end and stuff. And this year, everybody was just kind of straggling around. Like, I don't know. Everybody was like bummed out this year for some reason. Like, it was like nobody was happy to be there. Like, except maybe for Dan Slott. And I have a video that I have to put up with him, but I have to edit it because he told me not to put a certain part up. He told me to cut it out, and I'm gonna do that for him because I love him. But yeah, it's just as far as cosplay goes, like I enjoyed what I saw. You know, one of the ones I really enjoyed, Larry didn't even see it because Larry's like, I don't know what's up with Larry, but like he told me how good this book was, and this dude literally like cosplayed Deadpool from that book with the eye, with the like executioner eye thing. And the dude did that, and Larry just walked past him like he was just it's like another Deadpool, you know. And it's like, no, but it's that Deadpool, Larry, like, you know. And
I didn't walk by him like another Deadpool. I just didn't pay attention to him because
he was just a Deadpool to you.
I mean, sure, there's a lot of Deadpools usually.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you walk past him like it's just another Deadpool to you. But you didn't like pay attention to look like, oh, his eyes like this. His bulge is like this, you know?
His bulge. But he was, the Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which is a great book. Like Larry,
it is.
I always blame Larry for not telling me about things, but I remember he told me about this. So
I did.
You should be reading that.
Yeah, like
and then
crazy.
One of my the cosplay stuff. Yeah, back to it. It was a lot of it was good, but it definitely was. I didn't see anything that was like holy shit, you know. So it was just basically just par for the course. And part of it is like these dudes just do really good jobs. Like I feel like almost some of the best cosplay I did see was the Arcane stuff.
Yeah, there was some good arcane.
And because it just looks like they're regular people. Like, I didn't realize that I saw a friend of mine there, and I didn't realize till I saw the post on Instagram. Like, oh, I walked right past her. Like, she was somebody somebody I knew, and I just didn't recognize her. But those aren't really like, she's not wearing any face prosthetics. She's just there, you know. And I'm like, I remember looking at her and like, oh, that's that character from Arcane. And then I didn't see her at all. I kept walking. So, and then when I saw her post on Monday, I was like, oh shit, that was her. Like, I haven't seen her in like 20 years. Yeah.
Dang.
What character?
She did a good job.
I forget the character, but it's the one that has like more like the military jacket from the first season. Like
the sniper chick.
Right? Yeah.
Damn, what's her name? Oh, I feel bad. She's awesome.
Yeah. But you remember her? She used to cut my hair back when we worked at Arena. Leanne.
Oh, across the street
across the street at the barbershop. Yeah. So that was her, and I didn't realize till I saw it on Instagram. I literally walked past her and didn't say hi. Or
Caitlin, I think is her name. Is that her name?
Yeah,
I think it's Caitlin. But man, that's awesome. That's so cool. I'm sad that you all didn't get to connect.
It's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Taking Tugboat did confirm saying Caitlin. Thank you.
If she wanted to connect, she would have looked more recognizable. She would be hiding in costume.
Listen, but again, this is part of my thing where I'm like, man, like I was like, Mo, look, they got the Maestro, you know, like friggin' like Maestro, like friggin', you know,
Hulk,
like Hulk. And Mo was like, okay. I'm like, dang, even Maestro can't get Mo hype at WonderCon.
Taking Tugboat is asking if you still park at Disney and then walk to the convention.
So this is the problem. Fucking the shit was empty. There was no fucking parking. Even Larry had to recuse himself from this because he loves Disney so much. I guess sometimes over pandemic they had to they bought the side parking structures or something, or maybe they've always been Disney structures. But I mean, Jay, you the one that drove us most of the weekend, man. Like for how packed it was, like we shouldn't have had that much problem with the parking, right?
No, the parking was kind of ridiculous.
I really feel it's a deterrent for the convention too, like where it's like people that just don't want to deal with the parking. Like even my brother was gonna go, and his wife wanted to go, and he's like, but we had just been there for a hair convention about 3 weeks prior to this show, and even for there the parking was crap. So it's like, why is the parking so terrible for such a huge center, you know? And so that is a big problem of why, like, I didn't give a fuck about the Maestro because we had already walked like a mile to get there.
The parking definitely wasn't ideal, and it was strange in the sense that it didn't feel like there were enough people there for it to be as tough to park as it was. And even when you get parking, you know, like closer, it's still, you know, some, like, unless you're like right in that lot next door, it can be a little bit of a chore, you know, just to get over to the convention. Now don't get me wrong, like I'm saying that as a older comic book fan, and I want to fully recognize that.
Think of yourself as a dude dressed like the Maestro.
Right.
And having to walk, you know, like, and some of these dudes don't, they carry like a little like collapsible cart or whatever, and then they just put everything on in the parking lot or whatever. But even lugging that shit around, like, if you don't get there early, you know, and I feel I keep an eye out for the LA Times this weekend, because I got so mad I wrote an article and submitted it. Hopefully they pick it up. But because it does, like, I really do want to affect some change there. Like, I think it either needs to start from scratch again somewhere smaller, or or cut the shit and go back to what it was already. You know, like when they used to do the show screenings and the Hall H stuff at the stadium, and you know, I one of the hardest things for me this year is because I'm not financially where I would have been any other convention, and I really I saw a lot of my small press people like suffer because that place was, if you were just hanging out in the small press side, it was just dead, and they were like, dude, like this sucks here, like it's so bad. And then you go one door over and it's packed. And then, but you talk to those people and they're like, they're not even selling anything. Like people weren't even buying stuff like for it. You know, like let's say for each badge you sell, like one out of those 4 badges is gonna buy shit, you know? So you gotta make sure the shit is packed and you gotta track the people. And I feel like they're losing people each year. Like last year felt like it was slower than the year before. But what I don't get is how is Anime Expo still growing. Like they had a fire hazard the year that you guys went. They called it Line Con because everybody spent more time in lines than anything. And then the year we went was like so packed that they had to spill over into the hotels to do a lot of the programming. You know, like they adapted to that. So it's like, oh, more people want to come. Let's not have to leave here. Let's adapt. You know. And I feel like WonderCon isn't adapting. And I know, Larry, you reached out to one of our friends that helps put that together, and she wasn't even there this year.
No.
And it's like she's part of the ones that gets the shit under control. So like her not even being there, like is telling of like what the fuck's happening here.
It's crazy because there were a lot of people that I was kind of looking forward to seeing this year and like reaching out to and just being like, hey, you know, what do you got going on for WonderCon 2025? Like, you know, you're gonna be there. And I want to say like half of them were like, I'm not going this year, you know, which I was like, wow, like it's just, and you know, they had different reasons. Like, no, I don't think nobody was saying like WonderCon's not a priority or I don't want to be at WonderCon. Like, I'm not trying to say that at all. What I'm trying to say is that for whatever reason, this year people had to opt out, but WonderCon, I guess, was the choice they made. You know what I'm saying? Where, because, you know, I'm sure that there's like a lot of people were like, oh, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna be at WonderCon, but I'll be at Comic-Con, you know, which of course nobody skips Comic-Con if you can, you know, if you like nobody makes that choice. That's something that's like, you know, hey, you make the choice because you have to, not because, you know, you don't opt out of Comic-Con. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? If you can go, you do. But yeah, WonderCon for whatever reason ended up like, and I guess, you know, to a certain degree, I guess part of that is just people feeling like they didn't necessarily have to be there too, right? Like, I mean, this was more of a draw in years past, like you were saying, Mo.
But I'm saying it doesn't have to be like what fucked it up was pandemic. We're over that. Like we're watching people flourish. That like I never thought LA Comic-Con would get how it is, and look how big it's gotten. You know,
that's true. That's true. What were you gonna say, Oz?
WonderCon used to be at the convention center in LA, right? Now it's in Anaheim.
It was always in Anaheim, but they did it once when they were remodeling. When they were remodeling it so that it could fit WonderCon and anime stuff too, but you know, I don't know what they did. They remodeled something, but you know, not the parking.
I mean, you have to. I will say, you have to be somewhat empathetic in the sense that
for whom?
Well, for WonderCon and the cons that are trying to utilize that convention center, because like even like what you said with the parking, right?
Yeah.
Like if Disney takes over 2 parking lots, guess what you're not gonna do? You're not gonna be like, oh well, no Disney. Like nobody like Anaheim tried that, and
I think they need to
the
move.
city council damn near got removed, right? Like, you know, like they tried to tell Disney no, and they're like, oh well, if you're not gonna play ball,
you know, I think it's time for the conventions to move from Anaheim.
Right.
Yeah, go to LA where there's I mean, I don't want to say plenty of parking, but
no, yeah, it's not plenty of parking.
It's not plenty of parking, but look, at LA, like, what did we do last year? Remember, Larry, at LA Comic Con? I found a broken meter, and I just left my car there all weekend. You know,
Yeah,
like that
that's true.
opportunity was there. You know,
Yeah,
and even like the outside park, you got
that's what we
scalper
need in Anaheim,
parking.
more broken meters.
Yeah, well, they don't have meters at all. Like, because it's like
You're
literally like, there's houses living across the street from the convention center, so you got to park on somebody's lawn and shit. You know, and so you know, at least Long Beach Comic Con or Long Beach Convention Center, they have the Performance Arts Center, they have the all of the sports arena parking that they can use. That's all attached, as well as the mall, the Pike, and the Belmont Shore or the Shoreline Village parking. Like, they can house a big size convention with parking. Like, we've never had park problems, even when the hair convention, back then it used to be called the ISSC. Even that, when that was at its highest, you still found parking in there, you know, and it was like across the street, you know,
right.
So it could be done there, like that. It's a better setup, at least. I don't know if they could accommodate like an anime expo. I mean, they used to do it there first, and then they went to LA,
right?
But yeah, no, I think I'm just like, the Anaheim Convention Center just isn't a good venue anymore.
Got you. Well, okay, so let's get away from the logistics of the con itself and talk about, or the logistics of getting to the con, let's say that, and talk about, once you're inside, what that experience was like. Because you know, it's interesting, like you mentioned earlier, Moses, about the small press side of things and how it definitely was you know, more dead over there. We did see Ed Davis over there, and he was speaking to that same point as well, where he was just like, you know, and it was interesting getting his take as somebody that's been like a veteran of, you know, doing these kinds of cons for a minute now, where he just was like, like, you can tell that there's less people in here than or not less attendees, but even just less booths. There are less like exhibitors in that hall than usual, because, you know, it did have like a lot of space. There was a lot of like, they had wide rows, which is good when you have a lot of people, but then on top of that, you don't really have that many people there. And he was expressing, which is, again, going to the point that Mo was kind of making in regards to how they have the arena there that used to kind of act as like the Hall H type experience for WonderCon. You know, they haven't really gone back to doing things like that. I don't know if that's a programming issue, where they don't have like the people that have the connections anymore or something like that, because sometimes those things happen because of relationships, right? Or I don't know if it's something where, like, you know, just coming out of the pandemic, they were like, oh, well, we, you know, they felt okay with the attendance based on not having something like that when they couldn't have it, and they're just kind of being stagnant. But I know that you know, it was remarked on that arena, you had to pass through the small press area to get to that arena, and that foot traffic, because of the larger scale events happening over there, definitely invigorated that side of the hall. Which, for myself, like a person like myself, when I think about comic book conventions, that small press side is what I'm interested in. That's where the comic books were, you know what I mean? Like, the actual, like, if I wanted to dig through long boxes looking to complete my collection, that's the side of the convention I would have been on to do that. And so, you know, I just wanted to see what you all thought about things on that side of the convention, and like what that experience was like. I don't know. What do you have to say about that, Jay? Any thoughts?
No, you pretty much summed it up.
I talk too much. I agree. Sorry.
No, it was like I did enjoy the freedom of mobility, but
Jay was out here stretching. Living that small press life. No.
yeah, like, and it was a lot easier to see everything, I think, in that area, which good and bad. Like, you know, I do wish they'd have more people there checking out the smaller press. I do feel for those guys. But yeah, you pretty much summed it up. Like,
yeah.
For me, that's where I got like all my the little bit of shopping I did get to do. I did there, and one of them was picking up all my Kickstarter shit. You know, so I did. Got when you talk about Ed Davis, I got my Immortal Era 10 with the
that Garbage Pail homage.
Yeah, and then he gave me the card too, and I didn't even realize that the card is
is a what?
It's actually metal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's
so
very
like,
cool.
oh, nice. And then he gave me all my little perks like stretch goal stuff,
the
magnets and stickers and stuff. But yeah, definitely like they got to put something back to, like, those styling booths with the shirts and shit, and the what is it, the those mystery box motherfuckers, like they have like 4 booths all on one side, and it's like, put one of those over on the other side, like, what the fuck.
Listen, in my mind, I'm sitting here like, it felt to me like that room was where Artist Alley should have been.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, if you take, like, maybe there's not enough room for Artist Alley in that room too, like, because they did have like a pretty great sized Artist Alley at WonderCon. Like, Artist Alley was on point. But it's really interesting, the idea, like, it feels as though like I'm sure that they're making decisions in regards to like, what are people coming to the con for? And they're making choices in regards to like, okay, who are getting prime spots and who are getting less prime spots. I don't, they're not trying to give anybody bad spots, but they are giving people less good spots. That's definitely happening, right? And so I don't know if it's a thing where Artist Alley, like, I know that Artist Alley is a draw at conventions just because I go to enough conventions to see that. But it's interesting how that somehow has become divorced from comic books. Like, and which is like the thing, like, like, I understand that comic book conventions, for all intents and purposes, are pop culture conventions.
Yeah.
And comics is probably like plays a lesser role in the grand scheme of things. It's the engine, because it all comes from there.
I felt like that was a easier argument to make, maybe 8 years ago, 10 years. But I feel like now, like, people are reading comics and they just don't talk about them like they do TV shows. Yeah.
Is that what's happening? Because I don't know, man. It doesn't
just
feel
from
like more.
Some of the people I talk in the fandom, like, now I didn't talk to them at WonderCon, but that I do talk, in comments, like, oh yeah, I've been reading this, yeah, like, I he goes, one of the, like, just, I had to work in the morning and then go to WonderCon because I couldn't close a shop this weekend, so the dudes I worked, they're like, let me, I know you're going to WonderCon, so let me get in the morning, and they're dudes that I talk about this is like, like, oh yeah, I'm reading this. Like, this dude like told me the whole Venom. Like, he's like, yeah, I got my pull list here at Pulp Fiction, and so it's like, there people are reading comics. It's just they don't feel the need to go to conventions. That I don't think the collector aspect or the prospector aspect is as big as it what used to drive a lot of convention sales and stuff too.
Yeah, like there was definitely a more
But
speculative
I do
kind
get
of
what you're
market.
saying. But I do feel like there is a more of a. I mean, how did that dude think to become that Deadpool with the eye? If he
Right.
didn't read
He had to
comics,
be reading something, right?
Yeah, like, and it's not a comic that's like, it didn't come out with the movie. Like, that was my complaint about the comic. Like, it should have come out when the movie came out, and it
Right.
didn't.
Right.
Uh,
But see, but that's the thing too, though, where I guess my whole thing is like, if we're talking about, like at least when I look at comic book sales numbers, it's like comic book sales numbers aren't what they used to be.
I
You
know. I
know what I
blame you
mean?
for
Like
that.
you blame me?
Yeah,
Why do you blame me?
because you used to buy comics back in the day.
Well, yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like I still buy comics when I can, but hey, that's not on me. I definitely wasn't the one that started a downward trend. I can tell you that much, goddamn.
Fine, I
Like,
blame myself.
I know. listen.
Larry, you met me when I used to buy $120 a week worth of
Yeah,
the
right. Like, dude, and that's the thing. It was a different time, different priorities and whatnot. Like, I get it because I'm not saying by any means that like when like I know that I have spent less on comics, like in the last, or I like the amount of comics I was buying is not at the same level as it used to be back in the day. Now, but at the same time, I mean, there was something to be said about like what the comic book market was like back then versus now. And in some ways it was worse, and in other ways it was better. And and I know that that's probably the conversation that a lot of publishers uh have been having. And I'm sure like I like creators, I'm sure, have that conversation as well, but in a different way. So um but yeah, man, I like it's just crazy because I'm just like it it's weird to go to a comic book convention and there's only a handful of people that actually are looking for and looking to buy comics.
Yeah.
And but again, I think
that feels more like the norm to me.
well, it's the norm now, but
Yeah.
like you went to like well, Oz, did you ever go to like the shrine shows?
Yeah, but that was like 30 years ago.
I know. I know. I'm not saying a shrine show is something that
I wouldn't even call those a comic book convention. There was like giant swap meets.
It doesn't make any sense. Like,
but that's
what the conventions were.
Right. Yeah, that's what they were. And like dudes were I know I remember going and having a short box because it's like I'm not gonna put shit in my backpack. Like I'm gonna just put it straight in the short box, and I walk around carrying a short box.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand that the comic book convention has evolved. It's become Hex says, damn, Larry offended us. Listen, I'm not saying it hasn't.
How long have you known me? You know I went to the Shrine convention.
Listen, I don't know, but I suspect. Here's my thing. It wasn't so much.
I drove the little cars with the fez and everything.
Listen, it's not so much like I was like, oh, did you go to old comic book conventions? I just didn't know if you went to the Shrine specifically because
that's all we had back then.
There were other smaller shows too, but
no, smaller shows is showing up at somebody's garage or basement.
Long con.
Listen,
if you're gonna murder me, at least let me, finish this book right here.
Right. And so, but I get, and that's the thing where it's not even like the pop culture element wasn't at those older shows because they were there. It was just that the scene hadn't developed to the level, like it wasn't mainstream. And that's the thing, like, in the same way, like, yeah, like we all have heard the stories. Maybe Mo, maybe you have gone to a Comic-Con, like a San Diego Comic-Con that's old enough that you were in one of those like hotel rooms or whatnot. I know I wasn't. Like I wasn't traveling to
I never did the hotel room ones, but
yeah. Or hotel ballrooms, I should say, because it was always it's like ballroom, like
yeah.
Like, but like when I went to Comic-Con for the first time, it was already like giant.
When I went, it was like that too, like my first one, but it was like, you know where that little park with the little lagoon, little like pool thing is?
Yeah.
That used to be a Volkswagen specialty mechanic shop. And my brother drove a Bug. So when they saw my brother's Bug, like, oh hey, like, yeah, we're going to convention. Here, park here. And they gave us the key. Like, just come here and you can park here all day. Just give them $20.
Yeah.
And boom, and then we crossed the street into the convention center,
Right.
and go in, like, and we bought our ticket there,
Right.
and did the whole getting the lanyard thing, and kind
Right.
of like how we did here,
Right.
but there, and that's how small it was, and it's like, yeah, it was in, then my brother did something and I got lost, so I just stayed in one place for the whole weekend.
But yeah, man, it's just like, I'm not begrudging the Comic-Con evolving into something different, whether that be like a pop culture convention or whatever, because I love all that stuff too. Like, I love that I can go to a comic convention and get like nerd apparel. I can get like I can get geek.
I got my hat there.
Right, exactly, right. That I can get like if I want to get like a geek wallet, I can get that at a comic book convention. Or if
the only thing you couldn't get was a phone case, and
I couldn't get a phone case.
and Lloyd couldn't get a watch strap. But that's what you guys were looking for. It's like,
yeah. But the fact that we even thought that it could be there says something about, like, for better or for worse, about how much it's evolved. Like, if we were at San Diego Comic-Con, we would have gotten those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have found a phone case there, and Lloyd probably would have found a watch strap too. But but yeah, man. Jay, Mo, or Jay, why don't we start with you, man? Too. Why don't you speak about like your experience with the panels while you were there? What did you think from what you did get to see, and what the programming was like?
Well, I only got to 2 panels. An Aniplex panel and an X-Men Marvel Rivals voice actor panel. And they were both pretty great. The voice actor panel more than the Aniplex panel.
My man was trying though at the Aniplex panel.
He was trying way too hard.
No, but listen, I'm not mad at him in the sense that he's basically showing commercials for anime that's not coming out yet, and he tried to make that as entertaining as he possibly could. And I'm not mad at him, because he could have totally just been a straight up marketing guy and just be like, okay, here's the next thing, here's the next thing.
But he also wasn't like, oh, this is the guy I want to talk to about anime.
Right. No, I'll give you that. Like
he could have done a little. Well, it's just the dude he is. Like, I don't want him to change who he was. Like, if I meet that dude at a bar sometime and we talk about anime, like, that guy's cool. But I definitely, I know if I was like talking this shit up, it'd be a little different,
Yeah. So I like,
Tugboat here says, sorry, it's back to the last part of the topic where it's like, the first time I went to WonderCon, I was FS photographer. I could have done better, and I got to stick my face in the cosplayer's butt. I keep telling them, like, we need a photographer. Like, I tried giving Larry my camera, like I hit record and Larry just pointed at me, and then it just, anything technological that Larry touches just dies. Like, I don't know what it is. The same shit happened last year doing the same thing. Like, it was so weird.
I didn't touch any buttons. I know.
It's just something. I don't know. There's some energy, some magnetic shit in your blood or some shit that, like, it doesn't work. Like, you even ruined Jay's camera.
I don't think I ruined it. I may have just like misplaced it.
No, like,
you're talking about the actual camera. No, I didn't touch that camera.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just got close to it. It's like, oh, Larry fucked up mine. Jay, use yours. Boom, not working.
That did happen. I don't think it was because of me, but maybe.
I blame you.
But maybe. But yeah, man. So anyway, Jay, I'm sorry we cut you off. I just wanted to give the guy a little bit of props because I felt like he was trying his best. But yeah, like he was one man, and that's not what he does, and so it wasn't as entertaining as it could have been.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But voice actor panel was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the panels were good. Like I wish I gotten to see more, but what I did see was actually pretty cool.
Okay, cool. How about you, Mo? I know you got the chance to check out more panels.
Yeah, I did a panel with Dan Slott where he was supposed to be talking about what it's like to I don't even know what it was. It just said Dan Slott. It had no moderator and he's just talking like and he wouldn't stop. And it was amazing. And he talked about
he's gone full Kevin Smith.
I not even because it's like he didn't require questions, like like he literally just had his grievances with Marvel, whatever grievances he had, and that's where I'm like, I want to post the video, but I have to cut something out because he asked me to. But other than that, it's like he literally like he said fuck Nick Spencer, That's
not what he wanted to cut out.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to cut out. Yeah,
I'm standing on that.
Yeah. No. Well, the way he said it, he said, he asked the guy, "What do you think of this? Compare, like, if you don't like my thing, like, how do you think it is?" Like, and the guy's like, "Fuck Nick Spencer." He goes, "Yeah, I asked that question knowing exactly that was going to be the answer."
Yeah.
So
like very few people like that Spider-Man run.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, I mean, I love Ryan Otley's art in it. Like, he's one
Ryan
of those
Otley's
dudes
great.
that's like, man, like, and he's pulling back too because after seeing all the fucking, I mean, I watch I read Bear versus Shark, so it's but that was cool. And then the Aniplex, not the Aniplex one, the one we saw, I got pissed at it, and then some dude like told me to shut up. I don't think you noticed it, Larry, when I was talking to you about how Namor isn't Latino, and they got a Latino voice actor.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain, and then some guy's like, "Dude, just shut up!" Like next to me, like he was standing next to me, and then I just looked like to the side. And
was he talking to you?
Yeah, and I looked to the side, and then he just looked away and walked in the opposite direction. Like it was right when we were coming out.
Yeah, no, I remember the moment.
Yeah.
I just didn't see that happen. I didn't.
Yeah. I just heard him from my right ear, and I just looked, and I'm like, "The fuck," like, and he was a Latino dude. I'm like, "Bitch," like, fucking yeah. Cause like the dude that played honestly, I wasn't a fan. Like that panel was a fun panel. I didn't learn anything about what it's like to be a X-Men voice actor. Like, they didn't get. I thought I was gonna learn some backstage kind of stuff, but it's really just geeking out on it, and that's fine. It's not what I expected.
It was a fluffy panel. I agree.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was gonna be a little bit more in the nuts and bolts of things,
right?
Even though and again, I'm not mad at it because it was fun. I thought it was fun too.
Look,
but
we were in the panel we were watching a panel right before that one where it was nuts and bolts, and nobody gave a fuck what the dude was talking about, and he was talking about some amazing shit.
He was,
like
some really deep design stuff, and it was really interesting.
And I'm like, and I'm thinking, like, who the fuck is doing these fucking panels? Like, you need to turn off the lights so that we can see what's on the screen for this guy. Because it's all, like, the fuck? Even with the enemies, like, just shut the lights over the screen. I want to see it clearly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The fuck? And then, and then you see who's running it, and it's some fat chick that looks like Elsa or some shit running the soundboard. And I'm like, dude, for what we do here, trying to make our sound look good and everything, you've seen how I stress over how we sound, how we look and shit. And it's like they can't do that shit for a fucking panel here, man. Come on, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. I guess it's probably a volunteer army, but I don't know.
No, but it is a volunteer army. That's the problem. That's why you get shit quality.
Yeah.
Like Oz, you might be able to chime in on this, but the dude like that plays Daniel Marin or Marin, if he chooses to say it that way. He plays Namor in Rivals, and he likes that he gets to play a Latino character. And I made the argument that Namor or Namor isn't Latino; he's native.
Oz has no thoughts on that. No, Oz is.
I think he did freeze.
He's look at Oz, wave a hand, goddamn wave.
No, he froze. He's
Oz, what happened? Are you talking? Damn it, Oz! Come back to us, Oz.
There's a blur behind him, like some ghost went behind him and shit.
Wait, the wild part is that we didn't know he was frozen because he has that look on his face so often, right? That we're just like, we didn't know he was frozen until we started talking to him. Like, oh, goddamn.
Did you take him off or did you?
I did. I take him off and put him back. I was trying to see if he might unfreeze.
But yeah, my theory is that he's not Latino because part of Latino means you have to like speak Spanish, and Namor doesn't speak Spanish. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called Namor. He only calls himself Namor because he didn't understand what they were telling him in Spanish.
Got you. Right, and that's what you were explaining to me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then apparently a dude accosted you, and I missed it. I'm sorry, friend.
No, it's okay.
If I'd known that he had accosted you, I would have said something.
No. Well, that's the thing.
Or at least I would have looked at him too. I've been like,
that's
talking to you.
When you turn it around and it's like you look him in the face, then he's like, "Oh, yeah, he fucked with the wrong nerd
now, huh?
Yeah, he fucked with the wrong nerd.
Okay,
it's like that guy in, it's like that guy I got pissed at during Endgame. It's like, who needs a testosterone patch or something? Why is he giggling like this?
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was my thing with the panels, and
Oz is back.
Okay, so here's the thing. It froze, but I could still hear everything. So I was like, okay, well maybe it's gonna come back. And then you asked me the question. I actually started answering, but then obviously it was too late.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. What was your answer to the question? Or was your comment?
Well, Mo's right. He's not technically Latino. He's 100% pure native.
Mm-hmm.
Latino implies you're mixed blood.
Yeah, and speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like
yeah. So
sorry, you guys are probably like 10 minutes past all that.
No, we're still on the same thing, kind of. But what I did want to say about the panels is as grumpy as I was about how this WonderCon went, and I'm grumpy because we were supposed to do things there, and I stressed out about them for months. And Emily could tell you, I didn't sleep. Like I would wake up in the middle talking about like, what cables am I going to use for this? What am I going to, and I had everything ready and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I did everything and it still didn't work for me counting on other people. And that really like, it demoralizes me about everything. And I'm fucking pissed, and
you still sound mad.
I am pissed. Yeah. Like, yeah. So I'm, it's going to be a very, it's going to be different conventions from now on because of this. I'm going to do things. I'm going to take control of everything and I'm going to do it my way. And you guys are here for the ride. So,
there it is.
Yeah. Because it's just not, I can't count on anybody, so it's just not, and so Emily tries to get me to think about the positives of it, which was like I got to go to panels, I got to hang out with my friends, I got to see Lloyd, and I got to hang out and eat, and
that's good stuff.
That's what made it fun. It's like, but why do I have to carry 40,
Right.
50,
Right.
50 fucking pounds of equipment a whole day
Right.
to have fun with my friends. Like I could have just,
exactly.
if I wanted to, you think I go to WonderCon for fun? You know, yeah. But
Right.
yeah, it's definitely like even when we ran into Mandy,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like, "You guys having a good time?" And you're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Eh," and she's like, she looked at me like, "You're not." I'm like, I never have a good time, you know. Like I just don't. Yeah.
And she said that's pretty on brand.
Yeah,
That's what she
no,
said. I was like, that's
yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, you know, but yeah, I was definitely upset out of how everything played out, what we were planning.
Yeah.
And had I done extra to really make it like a really good broadcast this year, I would have looked like a total fucking chump, and and my instinct told me not to go that hard on that, but go hard on this, and you know,
Right.
where I was still able to do some things. And
yeah,
you'll see those on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts or YouTube. Like Larry didn't know what gouache is. Can you believe that shit? He didn't know what gouache was.
I believe it's pronounced gouge, but sure.
No. Look, you're another idiot.
I don't know. I'm fucking with you. I thought he would, because it's actually like I've mentioned it.
We've talked to him about it before. Yeah. Here, look, I'm gonna see if I can do something here.
Uh-oh, what are you about to do? Yeah, it almost looks like chalk.
Yeah, so it's called Pro White. And what it is, do you know what gouache is?
I don't. What's gouache?
It's a very highly pigmented watercolor.
Okay.
So it's very opaque.
Larry doesn't know what gouache
So we call this an opaque white watercolor. It's not really.
Okay.
It's a gouache.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Oh man, it looks amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
You don't know what gouache is?
Do you know what gouache? Yeah. Well, you used to work at an art supply store, though.
Right, but still.
Some of us never worked at an art supply store.
But I've told you what gouache was before.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I don't remember.
This is.
Thank you, my man. Yeah. There it is. I don't know what gouache is.
Larry.
It's my
I mean, you
shame.
should now, right? Like, because the guy explained it to you.
Still don't. I'm like, it has something to do with paint.
That's because you hate
it. Makes white look whiter, right? Yes. That's it. That's gouache.
So that was an artist, writer, creator, imaginator, Philip Ginn, and Philip, 2 L's, 2 I's, 2 P's, 1 H. And Ginn is a G and 1 I and 2 N's. And dude was really like gracious, explaining to Larry what it was, and his art looked great. And I wish I could have showcased it more, but I was more caught up with the Larry doesn't know gouache. Like you could probably hear, if you watch the clip again, you could hear him in the background. He doesn't know what gouache is. I told Lloyd, and Lloyd just started cracking up. He's like, Larry doesn't know what gouache is. And you know, Lloyd didn't either, but yeah.
There it is. So anybody got anything else they want to say about WonderCon 2025 before we move on? Hexzilla says, is that the name of the ep? You don't know what gouache is? That I guess so. I think that is it.
That's it.
Dude, did he spell that right?
Yeah. Well, he knows what gouache is.
Oh, okay. I'm the
Heck
only
knows
one
what
that don't
gouache
know
is.
gouache, huh? Like, man.
Well, he worked at an art supply store too.
Oh, okay. Well, then listen.
Nah, but like, if you like art, you know what stuff is.
Okay. Hexzilla says, I'm a goddamn artist. Yes, you are.
Yeah,
my bad, friend.
He's
digital. Dang, Oz gatekeeping over here.
No, look, one of my favorite artists pisses me off that most of his stuff is digital, so I can't buy like his actual stuff.
Clayton Crane.
You can get the NFT.
No, Cedric.
Oh yeah,
he's been doing so much. Like all his shit is digital now that I can't. Like I have to buy old stuff to get any of his stuff.
Or you can get a commission.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but he's not available because all his shit is digital. He's got like 30 books he's working on. So
yeah,
how dare he make money?
Yeah,
he's probably using AI now at this point.
Out here trying to feed his family.
His wife draws too. They don't need it.
Who's his wife?
Mrs. Cedric.
I blanked out on her first name, but she does the book Bloodstained.
Bloodstained.
You've never read it. Don't act like you're trying to remember what it is.
No, but is it the?
I don't think she's worked on anything like
not the video game one.
No. This comic is about a young girl's journey into womanhood.
Is that true, or are you just making stuff up?
I'm making it up.
No.
Okay. I'm sitting here
the main guy is like a scientist or something, and he's like banging his assistant, and so it's like their relation. Linda Cedric. I just looked it up.
Oh, so it is the same.
She hasn't done like anything like he's done like Witchblade and all kinds of stuff that you would know, but I don't think she's done anything like that.
Okay.
Before we move on from the WonderCon thing, I do want to give a shout out to the people I did buy comics from. So this is David Lecomte. His book Vein. It just had like really good like body horror style art on the cover, like psychedelic colors.
Yeah,
I really like. As soon as I saw it, I just wanted to buy it, and the inside doesn't disappoint.
Nice.
This is just I haven't read it yet, but the art on the inside still holds up. So I want to give a shout out to him. Of course, Ed Davis, who we talked about earlier, and I showed you my Mortal Arrow, that what I got. And then there's another couple. They do a book called Inversion. And Larry and I, like you and I, actually filmed a video about the first 3 issues, but it never got published because So for I honestly, I was trying to get a hold of them to talk about it, but it's called Inversion. This is it right here. The trade paperback is out. You can get it at their website. I think it's entityeye.com is the name of the publisher. Let's see. They put so much stuff in here that's like meta to to their story in the book. It's like from even like the copyright page doesn't have the like OG copyright. Like the last page has art from the comic still. So you're getting your money's worth here, but yeah, let's see, maybe. Yeah, just look Entity Eye Entertainment, I guess. Oh, at Inversion_comic on Instagram. It's the easiest way to do it. Dr. Susie Stein and Fernando Perez are the writers. David Mack did this cover. And then you got Chris Bolson doing arts. It's a really good book. I read the first 3 issues and I loved it, and I've been buying them ever since, and now this time they had the trade paperback, so I picked up that. So
nice.
Stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit the bell so I could do the review. And then the other thing we saw, Larry, that was really cool is Mechanical Cake is doing a new comic book company doing a series of graphic novels from the minds of Ridley Scott. So they gave us this like preview comic called Maudeville, and there's a Mechanical Cake in the back. So if you can see that. But
that's a little mascot.
That's a little mascot. When Larry sounds like, "What's this mascot?" Like, it's a mechanical cake. Larry is like, "Oh, I get it." Yeah, but
well,
they gave us.
In my defense, I recognized it was a robot cupcake, but I didn't put together that Okay, mechanical cake. So the mascot's a robot cupcake.
So yeah, so
when I think about cake, I don't think about cupcake, but okay.
This is the mind that brought you like Blade Runner, House of Wolves, Alien, So he's creating a universe and he wants to do it in comic book form. So this is one of the first ones coming out. And this is just a preview. We might review it or if you follow us on TikTok or Instagram, you might see it there. It might be a shorter form kind of thing. And then it should be launched. They said by what is it? By Comic-Con they should have like one of the first ones ready, right? Is that what they said?
Yeah, they did say they should have some.
So that's something to look forward to over there.
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Like there was definitely some good exhibitors in the place. It's just unfortunate that it feels like the audience only got to like one half or was only really interested in one half of the con, which I'm like, very strange. A lot of good stuff throughout the entire con, but it's neither here nor there. So okay, you guys ready to talk about some comics?
Hush.
Let's do it.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
There it is. Okay. So, Batman number 158, the first part of friggin' the Hush sequel, the Hush 2 storyline. So, it's the return of Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. Oz, I got to come to you, buddy. What did you think of this this return to form for these folks?
Are we gonna do any spoilers?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we can, because this book has been out for what? Oh, I guess it's only been a week.
It's like week.
It's only been a week. So okay, maybe not too heavy, but you can do some, like, because
I mean, we already know who Hush is, so
yeah. I guess it just doesn't. It's technically a spoiler, but it doesn't feel like a big deal to me. Like as I was reading it, I know I was supposed to be shocked, but I wasn't. And that's what happens to the Joker.
Okay.
Like I was more interested about what do you call him? Silence.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's Hush and his partner Silence.
Right.
Like I wanted to know more about that character than what he does to the Joker.
Gotcha.
And that's because the Joker, like so much stuff has happened to him over the. Like, I've seen the Joker die like a half dozen times at least.
Right.
Or at least like he should have been dead. So anytime somebody messes him up really good, it just doesn't have that shock value that I feel like Jeff Loeb was trying to give me. He wrote it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have that shock value that I think he was trying to convey. Now, it may for somebody who's not a big comic book reader and picks this up, but if you're not a big comic book reader, I don't know why you would pick up Batman 158 randomly.
Right.
They might pick up like the trade once they put these all together, and they'll pick up Hush 2 if they read Hush 1, but not just like randomly go to the shop. Oh, look, Batman 158,
Right. Yeah, I feel you on that.
That aside, I mean, it's Jeb Loeb and Jim Lee. It's well written and it's well drawn. I don't like. There's not a whole lot for me to say. These two know what they're doing.
that young upstart, those young upstarts, Lee and Loeb. That's fair. Jay, how about you, man? What was your take on this book?
I love seeing the Joker fish back.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just like the Joker fish.
Okay.
Something about him.
Okay. You just like the Joker fish. Okay.
No, but the book was good. I feel like a little bit like Oz did, where it's like, I know the Joker's not gonna die. Like, I don't ever feel like he's in danger.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that goes. But aside from that, I thought it was good. And actually, I didn't even think it was bad. I just didn't care. Like I know he's not gonna die. But other than that, I thought it was also pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I like Batgirl and Nightwing's interaction.
That is fair. Moses, how about you, man? What'd you think of Hush 2?
Initial impressions, like, yeah, I mean, remember you asking me at WonderCon, hey, did you read Hush 2 yet? And I'm like, I'm not reading that shit. And he's like, you're like, we're reviewing it on the show. I was like, oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'll read it. but like, you bought 2 copies. I'm like, yeah, just because it's Hush 2. But you never know like whose first appearance that's gonna be in there. So, but yeah, silence, yeah. But in reading it, I'm like, man, like I really love Jeff Loeb's style of writing.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like the story is doing what it is, like how Jay is with Joker and stuff like that, but I still like somebody else could do it and it wouldn't be this. I wouldn't feel what I felt reading this,
Mm-hmm.
So I really it does really remind me how much of a fan of Jeff Loeb's writing I am. But so yeah, so I it was an enjoyable experience reading it. And the art, like, I was a little hard on Jim Lee, but it's still not his best work, but it's still like I think I've just been spoiled because we do have really good comic book artists right now.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them have the, like, I don't know if you want to call it ego or like how those initial image dudes did, where they're like rock stars, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I don't see them that way. But like, if a Joel Jones drew this, or even like a Lionel Yu, like,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that was kind of like, you could see is kind of influenced by Jim Lee, but did their own thing, like,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been the shit. And this is still good. Don't get me wrong. But we kind of had this conversation too at the convention, Larry, where it's like, what if like Jim Lee's art is just dated now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not timeless like we thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, and I gotta tell you, like, I know, like, I reading this book, I was like, the story I liked. I found the story really interesting. It, like, yeah, like the series of events worked for me, and I definitely was like, oh, okay, like, I want to know what's going to happen next and where this is going. I was looking at the art and I'm like, you can't convince me that Jim Lee wanted to draw this book. Like, I don't believe it. Like, I'm looking at the art, and don't get me wrong, like, half-ass Jim Lee is better than like 90% of the comic book art you're gonna see, right? Like, it the art is not bad art. It's just it doesn't feel like as good as like Jim Lee art usually is to me. And
well, you compare it to like Hush 1.
Yeah, like, yeah, and I like 100%. Like, you could, and I'm just saying, like, look, I got an image here. I'm gonna pull this image up. This is not from Hush 1, but this is Jim Lee doing drawing Batman. And look, drawing Batman and Nightwing. Like, when I look at that art, I'm like, this looks better to me than what we got in that book.
Now that's a cover though.
I'm not sure it is a cover. But
even if it is, like, you're still seeing a cropped version of it. This book is full. I felt like all the, like, Jim Lee's art was cropped into panels here. You know, like, Jay, don't leave without giving a. Oh, he left already. All right. Like this, if it is a cover, all right, yeah, we cropped into something, right? These panels look, they're way. Remember how, when we're trying to film stuff at the convention, you're like, man, this lens is too tight. Like, everything is cropped in a little too much. Like, you have to stand far away to get the framing right.
Yeah.
Remember that, Larry? And that's kind of what this
that.
book feels like. It's a lot of Jim Lee's good art cropped in too much. Like, it feels claustrophobic almost. I don't know if that's what they're going for. I don't see why they would go for it, but even the cover, like, it's like, I would have wanted to see this cover. I would have wanted to see the full cape flying, like, from maybe 30 feet away.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I'll tell you what. If you can show me, like, interior, like, I'm trying to see if I can find some interior art from Hush, the first Hush, because like, that's a fair point that Oz is making, whereas, like, interior art's different than cover art. But I'm just like, it doesn't seem to me like there was a part of me that was like, okay, that maybe it's just nostalgia. But then I went back to look at, like, old X-Men, like, comics, right? And I'm just like, no, like, this art hits different. It looks better, than what we got in Hush 2, in this Batman book. And don't get me wrong, again, like, Jim Lee's in a much different place when he made these books than when he made those books.
We all
right?
remember this, right? I'm not a spoiler. And this isn't even the best way to showcase it, but that page in Hush.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure we could, like, we can't find that on. We can't find that on. What site did you find that on?
That's from DC Database, but I'll see if I can upload it real quick.
Yeah, or just yeah. But I'm just saying, like the art doesn't feel like, and I'm not even trying to say, like, oh, it's like, well, am I honestly, it just might be like Jim Lee from a motivational standpoint is in a much different place now than he was then.
Yeah.
And that might be showing in the art. Honestly, I'm saying this to you all, and I'm saying it like that. It is how I feel, but I'm honestly hoping that you all can, like, just, like, set me straight if I'm being crazy here, because I'm like, it just, like, it's weird because I'm not used to looking at Jim Lee art and feeling like it's subpar. Like, I've never done that before. But I looked at this book and I was like, it's not looking like vintage Jim Lee.
Yeah.
And it's not even looking like a Jim Lee that's like, because sometimes artists try a different style, and I totally understand, like, Jim Lee's like, hey, I'm basically coming out of retirement. Thank you very much for that. I'm coming out of retirement, and so just to keep it interesting, I'm gonna do something different, right? It's like, I could totally get with that, but that's not what this looks like to me either. It just looks like Jim Lee not like giving it his all, like this panel looks like better art to me. Like, am I wrong in seeing that? What do you think?
I don't think you are, but I also been like Jim Lee's not what he is since like the Action Comics 1000. And I remember you like being mad at me for saying that for the cover.
Yeah, but I don't see.
And I
And
go
that's the
like
thing,
it just doesn't feel like Jim Lee's Superman like that. I saw the cover for Man for All Seasons, not for all seasons. Like was it? It was Superman for Tomorrow, the one he did with Jeff Loeb.
Mhm.
You know, he did Hush, and then he did Superman for Tomorrow, and the cover for Superman for Tomorrow didn't look like fucking. It didn't look like that Action Comics 1000. And you would think he would do more for Action Comics. Now, one thing I would tell you is, like he said, like he's kind of retired. From a working standpoint, he's in a different place. You know,
Mhm.
he's not drawing as much. And one of the things that technology has changed a lot. You know, the
Yeah,
way you
that's
scan
true.
things in, the way you draw things in, they look different now. The scanners are a lot better. Or if he's drawing it digitally now instead of on paper, you know. I actually had a conversation with Eric Larson 2 weeks ago because he's like, I'm gonna try to do this. Yeah, see, look at that. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
on
I
par with
remember.
this Hush too. Yeah.
See, that looks better to me too. Like that's the
Yeah,
messed
see,
up
no,
part.
that doesn't look good to me at all. For like it looks good like for whoever did it. That don't look like Jim Lee to me.
It definitely like, and I'm
Uh,
looking at it, and I could in the head up here, like
uh,
this area, definitely I can see a little bit what you're talking about, but
yeah.
it's still like if I was
Like he only
getting
has
that,
one cheekbone.
it, man, if I was getting if that's an angle thing, I think, but if I was getting
No, it's not.
this,
Yeah.
if I was getting this, I think I would be okay. I don't think I would have anything negative to say, but you
But
know,
what I was trying
yeah.
to get to is that like because he is essentially retired from drawing comics, you
Mhm.
know, and let's say when did he retire? Let's say about maybe 10 years ago, maybe.
Mhm.
He's probably trying to draw or use the technology that he did 10 years ago, and it's not working out for him.
Mhm.
One of the things that I learned as a dude that would love to draw and can't, like, I don't have natural talent for art.
Mhm.
I
Right.
have a little bit of imagination, but even then, I don't have that. I'm too
Right.
literal, you know.
Mhm.
But from knowing people that can draw and stuff, they tell me, "Oh shit, my camera's going out. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Remind me where I'm at, Larry."
Yeah. No, I'll remind you. I'll remind you where you're at. I'll try to. Like he's like, oh no, my camera's going out. Look, what's your take on all this, Oz?
And what? You guys hating the art?
Yeah.
Um,
Or me criticizing the art because I don't hate the art, but I am criticizing it.
I'm looking at it and I can see what you guys are talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also Jim Lee art.
Right.
Like it's still good.
Yeah.
It's not
No, I
like
agree.
I feel bad if you see like recent Frank Miller stuff, like dude's
Yeah.
lost use of his hands.
Yeah.
Like
That's rough.
I feel bad compared to like his old stuff. But
Mhm.
Jim Lee, like he's still got it. Now he might have I think you guys are also kind of right where he might have like he doesn't need the money,
Yeah.
maybe he did, and he
I
just
don't think so.
he
I
just
think
did it real quick. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think he needs it either.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think that the company like probably were like, hey man, like we need you to like they're trying to sell comics, right? And you know, if you put Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb on Batman, that's gonna sell comics. So I think that's what they convinced him like, hey man, like we're gonna ask you to put out this book, like do us a solid, you know. And so I think that that's honestly what ended up happening, but I think that that is reflected in the art. uh I will say I'm looking into chat and I see Heck said, he says the art was kind of blah at times, but then he also says, I feel like a lot of it is the colorist because pencils is just pencils. Who colored, and are they different from Hush 1? And those are all
It's the
super
same
solid
team.
questions,
Yeah.
but it is in fact the same team, right?
Like even what I really loved about this book was the lettering. The lettering was fucking subpar, and it's our boy Richard Starkings. Like the dude did an amazing
wait,
job.
You said, oh, okay, so it wasn't subpar, it was great. You like
No, it was yeah, it was the lettering was like where it needed to be. Like the bubbles were right. They weren't crowding the panels and stuff. And even like the onomatopoeias, like there, it wasn't subpar at all. Where everything felt a little subpar in art, the lettering really elevated it. Yeah.
And see, you know, and here's the thing, like another reason why I feel like, okay, like I know that this isn't like Jim Lee at his best is because like I could tell, or at least what from my, and this is I'm gonna say I could tell, but what I'm really saying is I believe. Like I believe Jim Lee was like, I've drawn Batman a million times. I've drawn Nightwing a million times. I've drawn Joker a million times. I've drawn Barbara Gordon a million times. When this fool drew Silence, who he's only drawn probably this for the first time, Silence looks different. Like if you look at that panel, I feel like there's a difference in the art from Silence versus all these other characters that I mentioned. Like, you know, I'm just like, that looks like Jim Lee art to me. Even like you could even look at it in comparison from Silence to Joker in the same in that same panel. I feel like he looked like he was enjoying drawing Silence, and then he's like, I gotta draw Joker. Like, you know, and I don't look, I can't say that as anything definitive because Lord knows I'm not in Jim Lee's head, and Jim Lee and I aren't friends.
How great was this panel?
Right. So this is the panel of all of the Batman falling into like a little bit of a trap here.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Joker arms, and yeah, like that page was actually a page that stuck out in my head where I was kind of like, I don't like the way Batman is jumping in that panel. Like it's like
yeah,
it looks weird.
Yeah.
It looks weird, and it's not like again, this is not like a pose where it's like, oh, like Jim Lee doesn't know what he's doing in that pose or whatnot, because I could show you like this was another joint, like this is a different, it's Batman jumping as well, but it's different. But and this is a like we all know this image, like this image right here, like
yeah,
that like super solid Jim Lee art right there. That's like,
do you know what issue that was?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
That's another cover.
Yeah, it is a cover.
Yeah, it's technically the cover for 608, but it's also the very last page of Gotham Knights #1.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's how the that one ended. And
so it's interior art technically.
Technically, yeah, but it was black and white. So if you read Gotham Knights #1, the Gotham Knights #1 had a black and white. Remember how they used to do the little backup stories that were black and white? So that for Gotham Knights #1 had the story that was Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee working together. That's the first time they worked together before Hush. And that was the last page. It was in black and white originally, but it was the last page of that black and white story. It was the last panel.
Okay,
yeah, so it started as interior art and it became the cover for Batman 608.
See, and so that's what I'm saying. Where I'm just like, yeah, man, like I'm just used to when I look at Jim Lee art, it felt like any panel could be a cover, you know. Yeah. And when I was reading this book, I'm like, I don't feel that way. Like, not only do I not feel that way, but I'm like, for Jim Lee, this is not like great Jim Lee art. And we, you know, we were like again, this was like, you know, again, Moses mentioning it when they showed the cover for 158, just being like, oh, that's not quite Jim Lee at his best, and me feeling the same way. But that cover is definitely better art than I think the interior art. And I guess that's just Jim Lee, you know, he's still Jim Lee. Like, he's like, I gotta make this, we gotta sell books with this, right? But I definitely feel like that cover was a portent to what we're seeing here, where I'm like, and I don't like, again, I was looking to see if I could find like a picture of Silence, that picture of Silence with him holding Joker, but I haven't been able to find it.
Hold on, I got you.
Oh, okay, thank you. But I'm like, if you look at this, like, look at that, like, doesn't that character look like there's more time put into it than this Joker? Or is it just the angle? Like, is it just the angle? Like, I don't know. Like, all I know is the rest of the book doesn't look like
that's a pretty good Joker, though.
I agree.
Although he's getting ready to draw Silence. He's got his hand there, so he's like he's got it out in his hand, and you know he's working his way up to it.
Look, he probably used a Joker head that he did on something else and just photoshopped it in. Yeah.
Like that. This is, you know, again, part of it too might be like, okay, this is the first appearance of this character, and so maybe he's like, okay, like I got to make sure it's good or whatever. But like, just even like that, all like this page was working for me. That felt more Jim Lee. Like, that's probably the most Jim Lee this book feels right here. And then after that, it kind of just feels like he's like, okay, I got to go back to drawing Nightwing. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird to me, because I'm not used to Jim Lee art like hitting me like ho hum. I'm like, that's just not how Jim Lee does. Yeah. Hex here says, the thing I did notice is Silence looks like a motherfucker out of Street Fighter. That's true. Yeah. He does look like a Street Fighter character.
There was one cover that looked really good.
Wait, hold on. I should just put this like, Hector's, it looks like the same amount of time. Silence doesn't look any better or worse than anyone else in this book. Okay, so Heck thinks Silence looks the same across the board as far as art wise. I know for me, I don't know. That looks better to me. But yeah. Okay, what were you gonna say, Mo? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just didn't want to silence Heck. I didn't want to make it seem like I was leaving out the part where he disagreed with me.
No, I'm trying to get there's a cover that I saw that I really loved, and I can't seem to find it online here. So you know, and part of it's I'm using this browser that isn't ideal for searching.
You want to tell me what the
No, I have to look at it. So I'll just keep, but going back to like what I was saying earlier as I search, when we talk about like him retiring and not having to like draw on that capacity anymore, you lose. It's not like riding a bike. Like, you lose dexterity, you know, like, what's the dude's name? The dude that did the weather for like Good Morning America. What's the dude's name?
Al Roker?
Al Roker, yeah. Like, when he was a kid, he wanted to be a comic book artist, a cartoonist. And so he draws still, but he said that once he started going into meteorology, like, he felt like he needed to stop drawing. And then when he went back to draw, he realized he couldn't draw like he should be, you know? Like, when he really stopped using his imagination to draw was around like 9-10 years old, even though he kept drawing, but that's where he really stopped like focusing on wanting to draw. And that's where so when he went back to like continue drawing, even though he was a meteorologist, he went back. So he forced himself to like learn again from that point, because he's like, now that's my starting point. And he said one of the advice he gave to somebody that like wanted to keep drawing is like, if you want to be an artist, you got to keep drawing. You can't stop, because when you only draw. Most adults, he said, only draw as good as they do when they were like 9. Whenever they stopped using their imagination, whenever they stopped drawing, So
Right.
you're at that level, and that's what he said. So he's like, now he's like, he's actually a pretty decent. I would pay him to do a white cover for me, because he loves comics, and he's like, and he loves drawing. So it's like Al Roker, Spider-Man, or something, or or Superman, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I think that's kind of what happened with Jim Lee, where it's like, I don't have to draw for a living anymore.
Right.
I just draw for fun. So now he just does little doodles and shit, and
right.
And now that's what
And
we're getting here in
occasional
Hush
covers.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, they're probably like backlogged on something he drew already, and somebody else colors it or whatever, finishes it up.
So, Oz, I know that they've said that they put a number of these in the can already, right? But this joint, as far as I know, it's not like completely done, right? Because it's supposed to be like 12 issues, isn't it?
Probably. I don't know what the number is.
Okay.
But it's not. Well, I mean, it's gonna be more than this book based on how it ends. Like, there's no. It's minimum 6, but I think it's gonna be 12 with like 3 or 4 from other series going on.
Wait, when you say other series going on, what do you mean?
Like Catwoman books and stuff like that.
Oh, it's gonna
connect.
Well, they usually do that, where like, there'll be like 1 or 2 books from what do they have now? Birds of Prey. I want to say there's a Robin book, but I'm not sure.
I don't think this one's gonna connect though.
It might not, but they usually do.
The first one didn't.
Are you sure?
Like the Aftermath did, but not the actual story. Because again, you got to figure out like the reason they don't connect is because sometimes you can't do it on time.
Yeah. So what are y'all thinking? Like, do you think that Jim Lee is gonna be able to finish this joint without any delays?
No. I don't think Jeff Loeb could finish it without the.
I think it's done already.
You think so? You think it's complete?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, that would be awesome if that was the case. But yeah, man. Okay. Well, listen.
I think. Hold on, real quick. Hold on.
You found it?
Yeah, I found it, and I'm trying to upload it now. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
There it is. That's the cover I like that Jim Lee did.
So we out here looking at a white cover, Mo? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Look how beautiful it is. Like,
oh Lord, listen.
Like even the 2 looks better. Like you could tell it's Hush 2 on this one. You can't tell in the other cover. That 2 is washed out in the U.
I guess you can tell that you can see it better in the white cover.
And wait till they accentuate it.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. So beautiful.
I'm almost scared to get a commission from Jim Lee now. I would hate to like get a commission from Jim Lee and be like,
you're not gonna do that shit.
It's all right. Damn.
I'm gonna get Fiona Staples to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Anybody got anything else you want to say about this book before we go ahead and start rating stuff? Okay. Oscore, what would you rate Hush 2, good sir?
I'm probably gonna go with 4 because it's a story. It's a good story with decent art. I guess you guys hate it. That I don't have to like add another book to my pull list.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair.
So bonus points for that. Like I'm already reading it.
There it is. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Hush 2?
It's a 4. Like I really do love how Jeff Loeb writes comics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the art, the story really does it for me, and it really made me miss Tim Sale.
Yeah.
Like R.I.P. Because like them two together, like
Yeah.
they just really fit, and they could do any book, any genre, like you know, and you don't have those issues that you would have with Jim Lee here with Tim Sale.
True.
You know,
That's true. Now, obviously, Tim Sale's his style is much
it's
more
different.
stylized.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
but you're right. Like Tim Sale, like
yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of like Jim Lee with Jeff Loeb together. Like, I mean, the original Hush was great, you know. That Superman for Tomorrow was amazing, you know. I know a lot of people didn't really like that one too much, but the art looked great, and it was like the type of story compared to Hush was very different, but it's very Superman story. So they work well together too. And I don't know if maybe this should have been like, because I did see this cover in the program for WonderCon, which is a bigger magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it on a bigger scale, the art looked better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it just looks too crowded or something, or they just didn't lay it out right. But it's still like, you know, maybe if it was a prestige format book, maybe we can, you know, it would look better. But I don't think comic book readers don't want a prestige. They don't want nothing that don't fit in that long box. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, like I'm tempted to give this book like a 3.75, but it's probably a 4. Like I definitely feel like I'm comparing Jim Lee to Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And like it might be unfair to compare Jim Lee of days past with Jim Lee of today and be like, you're not as good. I should be comparing Jim Lee of today to the rest of the artists today. And so I'll give it a 4. Like I did enjoy the story. I did enjoy the like you know, Jay mentioned earlier the dynamic between Nightwing and Batgirl, and then there's other characters that pop up in this book that I was happy to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4 too, even though I will say it's a reluctant 4. So, all right. Yeah, I guess it's time to get out of here, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
We could talk about other things.
Do you have something else you want to talk about?
No.
It's like we could go, or we could talk about it.
We could do a free for all Friday.
Free for all Wednesday.
Yeah.
Let's do another 24-hour stream or whatever the fuck we did last time.
I don't think we have the StreamYard won't let us do it now.
that might be true, man. Like, they're like, hey, y'all know you're supposed to be getting off of here. It's all good.
3.5. It lost points because I read a few comics before I read this one that were better in my eyes.
Yeah, no, look, I could see that. Like, this definitely is like I said, it's a reluctant 4 because it's not like comics right now. Like, there are some really good comics out, and this isn't like upper echelon, but you know, like it is the first issue.
That's where it feels kind of weird, where it didn't make the impact the last one did. You know?
Yeah. So we'll see. Oscore, give me some final thoughts, buddy.
I don't know. I'm drunk. Might buy another statue tonight.
There it is. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Look at my hat. Yeah. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. We got some video stuff coming along, and follow us on Instagram and all that.
There it is.
The end.
Okay. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Until then, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of. We'll listen. So please, just let us know. Let us know. Until then, we are the Fantastic Forum. Good night. It won't let us in. Streamlabs is like, stay on forever.